harm found its way to me. Terrible harm. Would that change your mind? Terrible harm. It's time to let you proud and not look at the thing.
Hello everyone, it's your Bud. In today's video we're going to be going through this guide that I found on Giant of the Playground years ago. It was posted in 2006 and I have no idea if it was reposted from somewhere else because as mentioned here it says I hope to establish this as a prime resource for pursuers in this vague milestone in the art of necromancy. So whatever this was, I don't know if this was the original post and this is where they meant for this to be the prime resource, or if this is a repost from somewhere else. But anyways, let's read through this. So it discusses being an eternal fan of necromancy and how it's far more difficult to convince one's dungeon master to let them take the template than to actually acquire it in the first place. And it discusses everything about the liches, so there's tons here to go through, and sorry if I'm a bit stumbling over my words, but I'm going to try to do this as good as I can. And you probably noticed it in the title, but I might be discussing my idea for a really cool lich character, a really funny lich idea. I probably put it in the title because it's a good clickbait thing, but we'll discuss it when we start talking about races of characters in a bit. So what is a lich? A lich is a spellcaster of the necromantic persuasion, and necromancy is again magic that controls the dead, who seek to gain immortality and greater power through evil magics. Now if you haven't seen it, I have a video called Natural Liches where I discuss phoenixes, nymphs, and trolls, and that's a non-evil lich. So go check out my Natural Liches video, it'll be linked at the end, and a card if you want non-evil liches, but these are strictly evil. By constructing and storing one's soul within a phylactery, and if you've seen Harry Potter, think of the Horcruxes as phylacteries, via these dark rituals that spellcasters can live forever as an undead creature. To qualify, it takes a spellcaster, number 1, not including spell-like abilities of caster level 11 or higher, 120,000 gold pieces, that's number 2, and 4,800 XP, so that's 3 requirements: a spellcaster of level 11 or higher, 120,000 gold pieces, and 4,800 experience, and this does not include the various materials for the ritual to become a lich. And I'm not exactly sure how this relates to 5th edition, as I said this post is from 2006. So yeah, do you want to be a lich? What are the rites? Once the phylactery is completed, and the phylactery is where the soul is going to be stored, it must be placed on an altar to a death god, which you must construct from black onyx of 500 gold pieces, in a process that takes 8 days to build the altar, with all the etchings and enchantments done, requiring you to expend 6 hours and 2 whole levels of spell slots each day. You're ready to transfer your soul to the phylactery. With an evil outsider watching over it, it's impossible for them to overfear. They're just like a witness or something for your signature, basically. Via the power of the ritual, you must sacrifice one of your race who's twice as young and another who's twice as old to a max age of the maximum age for your race. So even if you're the oldest that your race can be, the person twice as old as you would still be the max age, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, twice as young and one twice as old. Per the ritual, their souls are consumed by the black onyx altar, where you will slay yourself using your most potent necromancy spell. Your soul will travel through the black onyx into the phylactery, where it will be activated. Becoming your passage into Lichdom, the evil outsider is automatically dismissed to wherever they came from, but remember they did witness your Lichdom, and the black onyx altar dissipates from the site, probably going, oh yeah, it becomes a tribute to the death god you dedicated it to, your name being engraved throughout it as your soul was channeled through it. That's pretty cool. So who can become a lich? Core base classes: barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, and wizard. Multi-classing, there's a few: fighter or barbarian, monk or rogue, or fighter or barbarian, wizard 3, cleric 3, mystic. Oh yeah, so this is old. Wizard 3, cleric 3, mystic, thurge 5. That's pretty interesting. I never thought of a mystic lich before. That is just, that's too broken. With practice spellcaster, it would, yeah, okay, doesn't really need that. Note for assassins, Okay, yeah, probably don't really need to discuss that either. Some of these things have aged out with time. Relative phylactery sizes. Okay, this is still important. Due to the size difference between various species who partake in lichdom, a phylactery is usually billed 2 size categories smaller than its creator. Well, that's a cool way to discuss it, to a minimum of fine. So even a tiny fairy would still have a fine size phylactery. A colossal creature would thus have a gargantuan phylactery. And another video, if you haven't seen of mine, if you haven't seen the core collectors, it was a race of spacefaring giants as big as nebulas in space that I created. Yeah, I'll link that one, or I'll put a card for the core collectors as well. But yeah, they collected the cores of planets and used them like jewels on a ring or something like that. And yeah, so these colossal creatures might use a core's planet as their phylactery. Those are the core collectors, a race that I created. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Phylactery sizes change relative to your size. Phylactery empathy. So phylactery empathy, what does that mean? A lich can automatically sense is a phylactery. Oh, okay, yeah. So empathy meaning you are aware of the feelings of the phylactery, so you can tell whether it's being attacked or has been destroyed. When a phylactery is destroyed, a lich feels a sensation of pain, which stuns it for 1d4 rounds. Put in a clip of Voldemort here. As long as phylactery does not move from where the lich puts it, a lich can automatically sense exactly where it is. As long as it does not move. Oh, that's a hilariously worded sentence. So as long as the phylactery does not move from where the lich put it, the lich knows where they put it. That's pretty good. Even if memory's altered or somehow forgets. Oh, okay, so that's how they know exactly where it is. Right, I forgot you could alter memory. We're in a fantasy world. The lich receives a +2 bonus to divination spells on its phylactery. Okay, reforming the phylactery. So this is this person's this is their own outlook on the process. Upon being destroyed, your perspective is shifted back to your phylactery while you await to be reformed in 1d10 days. Okay, so 1d10 to reform your body from your phylactery. All effects are immediately terminated as your remains are reduced to their inert ash. The energy of this fading form is used to fuel the regeneration of your new one as your body reforms. Oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, if your body's dying, then all the residual energy just starts to jumpstart the new one. As your body reforms, you lack any control over it physically, but your mind is allowed to think and plot. Here is an 8-day progression of your reformation. At times when you regenerate quicker, this timetable is accelerated. Okay, so he's got an 8-day progression table. Let's see what he thinks. When being reformed, you receive blind sight. Okay, 5 feet to detect any presences of living or unliving creatures. You can't move, but I guess you can still have blind sight and you can think and plot, like with Magic Jar, to see such presences and their strength. You may cast any touch spells or short-range spells. So you can't move your body, but you still have your mind. So technically, yes, touch spells or short-range spells limited to a range of 5 feet. This guy's smart. That's pretty good. So if you're still conscious with your mind, then yes, as long as like the magic circuits or whatever in your body have reformed, then you should be able to use spells. Or if there are no magic circuits in D&D, then I don't know, you have your mind so you can think, so you can cast spells. I like that. Oh, so you can cast short range spells that you still have memorized through your form if they dare touch you. That's pretty cool. During this time, you cannot regain spent spells. Makes sense. So you can use your spells, but you can't regain spent spells because you can't rest because you're reforming. You can communicate through telepathy, but its range is limited to no more than 30 feet. So range spells limited to 5 feet unless it's telepathy. Any other senses do not function until the process is complete. That's really detailed. So day 1, you are an amorphous blob of negative energy that begins to slowly build up over the phylactery like a layer, much in the way that an oyster would create a pearl. For the most part, it offers no protection to your phylactery. Okay, day 2, the negative energy will begin to take the shape of your previous form. So blob day 1, shape day 2. Day 3, the blackened shell begins to solidify into inert flesh. Much like a clone spell, the effect takes hold from the outside in. Day 4, bones begin to reform within the fleshy mass. The first traces of the most vital organs are coming back. Day 5, organs and bones are formed but unconnected as of yet. Ugh. Oh, this is so knowing that the Lich has the ability to think and plot during this time, and it has, okay, so if you're Lich and you're undead and you have empathy Remember, empathy to your phylactery. Does that mean that you're unable to feel your body? Because if you could feel all of your organs and bones being formed but not connected, that would be weird. So I think the Lich would either be driven crazy if they feel that, or they must not feel their physical body and must only feel the phylactery at this point. Ugh. Day 6, all organs and bones are set into place and connected. Once again, I hope the Lich can't feel this. They are inert though, as you are an undead creature. The process of reformation begins to return you to the look you have previous in your undeath. This includes deformities and any bodily marks, scars, birthmarks, etc. Day 7, hair and pigmentation. Oh, I just want to say, the scars, birthmarks, etc. If you're a Lich and you die but you come back and you don't want people to know that you've died, then you don't want all of your scars to disappear and people say, wait, yesterday you had a scar over your face, now it's gone. What changed? Because that'd be like a brand new fresh person, so it's good that it comes back with all of the birthmarks, everything. This is super detailed. Day 7, hair and pigmentation have returned to normal. Nails begin to push out from the tips of your fingers. Ooh, fluids are created but not circulated. Blood will coagulate by the time the process finishes. Ooh, this is gruesome. Day 8 to 9, with your body intact, your soul begins to anchor itself back into your body. Okay, good. So the soul was within the phylactery until the final moments of day 8 and 9. In effect, you're comatose. Phew, okay, so even though the body was being reformed, your soul was within the phylactery and not connected to the outside body. Good. Day 10, the process is complete. Your eyes snap open and you're now as you once were. As the final step, a blackened patch of negative energy remains over your heart from day 1. Though this hole drops your phylactery, which has acted as an impromptu heart throughout your regeneration. With the phylactery expelled, the hole is sealed and you're completed. So you form around the phylactery like a pearl, but then the phylactery gets ejected from your body through a hole in your heart like the espada from Bleach, and then that hole seals up, and then you may delay the process of reforming to an amount of time between the original amount of days to the maximum amount of days. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Reforming. That's pretty neat. Okay, so yeah, so that phylactery, you reform around the phylactery, then your soul inhabits that body, then the phylactery is ejected, and then the wound that the phylactery is ejected from heals up, and then you're in a new body holding your phylactery and you can place it somewhere safe again. That's pretty cool. So I think at this point I should discuss the race that I thought would be super, super funny, and that is a Tortle.
I like turtles.
Thinking
Turtle.
Total annihilation.
What if harm fell between you?
Turtle,
Turtle,
turtle, turtle.
harm. Would that change your mind? Turtle,
So if you've ever thought of a turtle, here's a great image. So the shell is on two sides, and technically these might connect or not, but it's one shell with an opening in the middle. Now, if you just found a dead turtle washed up on a beach or something like that, and you cast something to have a bag of holding like effect where inside of the shell was its own personal plane, much like a bag of holding or something like that, then you could put your phylactery inside that personal plane and then you could reform within it. However, you could stick your hands out of like the turtle, like the holes in the shell, so you could reform within this thing. And whenever the turtle lich is inside the shell, it's actually in another plane.
Where'd he go?
And then whenever its hands come out or its head pops out, it comes out from the other plane. So really, it's a suit of armor that acts as a bag of holding for your phylactery. So your phylactery's on another plane, but the other plane is, it has like entrance. I don't know how it would work with entrances and exits, but wouldn't that be super cool that like it pulls its head inside and it's completely safe in another plane, and then all of a sudden out of the hole, instead of an arm poking out, it like throws a whole bunch of like gold and treasure and stuff that it has in that personal plane. So yeah, I think that would be a super, super funny thing if a lich found a dead turtle and then used it to hold its phylactery. So the phylactery is actually in an altar on a personal plane that exists within this Tortle's shell, and then it reforms, takes over the dead Tortle, or this could be a Tortle that turned into a Lich, but I think it'd be cool if another species found the body of a Tortle, constructed its shell in a way to make it like a bag of holding for its phylactery and soul, and then re-inhabited the phylactery, and then all of a sudden, so out of, you see this shell sitting there, and all of a sudden a head pokes out, and arms poke out, and legs poke out, and out comes a tail. But really inside is it's another plane. So it's like, if you'd have to destroy the shell itself to get to the plane where the phylactery was. I don't know. I think it's really, really funny to have a Tortle Lich. So what would you think of that? It'd be so, unassuming. You'd never think that the Tortle, you'd be like, oh, that Tortle's skin is, super, dry, and it looks super old, but you're like, maybe all Tortles look like that.
I'm fine.
You wouldn't tell whether a Tortle was undead or not in quite the same way. If you saw a weird Tortle, you'd think, that's a weird Tortle. I don't know. What do you think about that? Having the shell be like a bag of holding, and then inside of it is its own personal plane where the phylactery and the body exist, so the Tortle can go inside its shell and just be in a different plane, and then just all of a sudden, instead of an arm or a head coming out, all of it, it's like Mary Poppins' bag. The Tortle shell is like the bag of Mary Poppins, and anything can come out that it's stored in there, as long as it can fit within these areas, or maybe the entire shell can just split apart and fall into two halves, and then giant things can come out of the portal or something like that. You can have these two things float in two separate areas, and it can be like two sides of a gate or something like that, and then anything that could be in the personal plane could come out. I think that'd be really, really interesting. Anyways, back to the Lich guide. So when discussing the defense of the soul when it's inside the phylactery, this person says you can use the will save of the creator as the phylactery's will save. So I think even if it's not within the vicinity of the Lich, because it does contain their soul. So if the phylactery contains the soul of the Lich, then therefore the phylactery has the same saves as the Lich. I think that's kind of neat. Symbols, spells, glyphware are good defenses and are not triggered by the creator upon his or her respawn. So that's pretty good. Yeah, even if you have something that's detonate whenever a being enters this space, you would usually get that if you were entering it when you were respawning, technically. But yeah, they made it so that, yeah, symbols, spells, and glyph wards and things like that can't attack you. So destruction of a phylactery. When you destroy a phylactery, you destroy the soul of the Lich who crafted it, unless it has multiple phylacteries. Without a soul, it cannot be brought back to life, nor can it reform. A phylactery that is destroyed while it contains a soul is vaporized by the action of the soul being dispersed from within it. That's pretty cool. That's a neat image. Nothing can bring it back or fix it. If it's an inert phylactery that hasn't been occupied yet, it only breaks as per the effect set upon it and can be repaired by a make whole spell. Okay. Unless it was destroyed by mundane means such as a disintegrate spell, or left in a state where make whole cannot fix it. I don't know if make whole is even a spell that still exists, because I haven't heard of it. That sounds like mending. It sounds like the mending cantrip. I don't know make whole. I don't know if that's a different spell. And if you have trouble with the visuals, that is make whole, as in WHOL, as in make, as in fix. So I like the idea of the vaporizing the container that held the soul. That's pretty neat. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of feats here that can help this person be better, but yeah, lots of these, I'm not sure if, I don't think I'm going to go through those because I don't know how many still work. So let's just keep going. You don't look so good. As your body begins to decay from its original look, it becomes easier to spot you as the undead scourge you are. The base DC is 12. A heal check is half this DC, having the modifiers as well. Can identify your undead form by checking your pulse, vital organs, etc. So disguise self, either the previous or the result of your disguise check, whichever is higher when a spot check is being used. There's no use against a heal check. Okay, so yeah, home is where the heart is. Oh, that's a great title. Polymorph any object when cast upon a phylactery will allow you to transform it into a heart. So yeah, you can polymorph your phylactery into a heart. With this, you may perform a special ritual. A DC 30 heal check will allow you to replace a living creature's heart of equal scale to your own heart. A medium lich can cast a permanent spell to double their heart's size for use in a large creature. This creature becomes a lich thrall. Gaining the afflicted template, the lich refers to the lich who added this template. So yeah, they are a thrall of the lich. Okay, this template is also applied whenever phylactery is within another creature, either by ingestion, surgery, etc. For DM effects, such as the entire person as phylactery, use the lich thrall. Okay, as in the case of Professor Quirrell in the first Harry Potter, Voldemort is in effect a lich with a slow recovery time. Okay, so the lich thrall is Quirrell. That's cool how they described that. Interesting. So yeah, remember, your phylactery is where your soul is, but if you turn your phylactery into a heart, then your soul is in this heart that you then transplant through a ritual into a creature. So yes, Quirrell was the creature, the heart was the phylactery, and Voldemort was inhabiting the heart, hence why two beings can inhabit the same body. That's pretty cool. That's a neat form of lich that I haven't really seen played in Dungeons & Dragons, really. A lich will respond from its lich thrall as it would from a phylactery. The lich thrall is a phylactery in effect. During this time, the thrall glimmers with dark energy, so when the process is finished, the lich parts from his thrall as a shadowy form that solidifies itself instantly. Okay, so it's a shadow that just disappears, and then whoosh, it's an instant thing. The lich will look sort of like its thrall, sharing a few minor physical traits. Eye, hair color shifts slightly. In return, the lich thrall acts and thinks more like its master. That's pretty cool. So if you purposefully let your lich reform from the lich thrall, then you can change your lich thrall. That's a neat way to manipulate. So liches are evil, and if you make a non-evil creature your lich thrall, but then you die and respawn within it, then you respawn from the lich thrall, and the lich thrall might no longer be good. They might have moved alignments a bit more over to evil. That's pretty cool. So in this case, could a lich thrall be the Tortle? Could you have the Tortle be the lich thrall? that could be kind of interesting. And then whenever the lich thrall dies, you then can take that Tortle and then inhabit its being and use it as a phylactery. So it could be your lich thrall, or then whenever it dies, you can use the shell as a bag of holding for your phylactery, and then there it's just a skeleton that you inhabit. Okay, that's kind of neat. When reforming the Master, it takes DC 25 minus 1 day for every day the respawning process has gone on to realize that something's wrong with the Lich Thrall. As noted below, detecting the Lich Thrall's aura will show that there are 2 overlapping auras, one for the Thrall and one for the Lich, though they are the same in quality. That's really cool that you can notice it. So you can see why I just wanted to share this guide with you. It's so thorough, and even though many of the things from 2006 don't apply to 5th edition, and I didn't read through all of the feats there, I can come back to that if you want to know more, or you can just search for this yourself, but there's just so many great things about this. So here's the Lich Thrall template. Alignment shifted to the Lich's alignment, influenced to act as the Lich would. Oh, so it doesn't even shift towards it. It just goes straight to the Lich's alignment. So a true good character goes to true evil just by being the Lich's thrall and not noticing it. So if they're the Lich thrall and they don't notice for the 25 days or whatever, or something like that, actually it's only 10 days that you reform. So you could put something into your Lich thrall, reform within 10 days, and if they don't notice in those 10 days, that Lich Thrall is now evil. Gains magic and bludgeoning equal to half the Lich's health damage? What? I don't know what these old ones, DR and HD, I don't know what some of these things mean. Healed by negative energy. Oh yeah, so healing hurts you, but negative energy heals you. So like a drain life spell on you would actually give you health. Spell-like abilities granted, oh this is the Lich Thrall, remember. So the Thrall gets some spell-like abilities that are visible only to them, and requires a roll chosen by the Lich Thrall. If successful, the Lich cannot use any of these effects for an hour. So yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. So they can use abilities, but if they're countered, they can't use it for an hour. They can channel the Master, okay, in mirrors. The Thrall's reflection is that of the Lich. Oh, that's cool too. When any presence is sensed or its aura is being checked, it is exactly the same as the Lich's. When respawning the Lich, anyone checking the Thrall's aura will notice there are 2 identical ones. The Lich may use Charisma, Intelligence, or Wisdom-based saves via its Thrall. And there's familiar-like traits. That means the Lich may use most of the familiar's spells as their own abilities to a distance of 100 feet. A Lich can cast any ranged spell on its Thrall from any distance, so long as it's accepted willingly or the Lich succeeds on an opposed check. Okay, so you can make the Thrall a little more special than just being a body with the phylactery in it. You can't take it with you. Being in the presence of its phylactery empowers a Lich due to its dark powers that it channels. While there's risk in keeping its phylactery close, sometimes it is needed. The reforming powers of the phylactery also aid in minor damage to the dark creature. So when you're within 30 feet of the phylactery, a Lich receives, and let's just think of the Tortle. Remember, the Tortle's shell is the actual physical form, and within it is a personal plane that houses the phylactery. So technically, if the phylactery is within 30 feet of the edge of this personal plane, then the Lich is connected to it, and the Lich would receive +2 bonuses to caster level for necromancy spells, +2 DC to necromancy spells, +4 bonus to turn resistance, fast healing 2, and resistance 10 against positive energy. So that's pretty good, resistance against positive energy. That's good, so that way if someone heals you, you can just let them heal you, and it actually does damage to you, but you can take it. So here's where it gets really interesting. Multiple phylacteries. So yeah, Voldemort's thing was what, like 7 Horcruxes? What was it? I can't remember exactly, but yeah, multiple phylacteries, more is better. A truly evil Lich obsessed with the goal of gaining immortality may wish to try and ensure its unlife. By creating multiple phylacteries, a Lich can gain extra lives. A Lich will only reform at the oldest phylactery it has. So the oldest one, the one you made first, that's the one you reform in. Unless it was destroyed, then you reform in the next oldest phylactery. To create an extra phylactery, the Lich goes about the same process as creating another phylactery, but costs are increased by 10% for each phylactery it has. And you must have one to start with, making the first extra cost 10%, the second 20, yeah, okay, we get that. We know how to add 10. Every phylactery the Lich has must be present when an extra is made. Extra phylacteries cannot be repaired by the Rekindle the Soul, which only works when Lich has no phylacteries left. In addition to its cost, a phylactery requires a permanent state of a base ability point. There's no way around it. Permanent sacrifice of 1 base ability point. That's pretty cool. So yes, you may get another soul storing device to ensure your immortality, but you have to sacrifice 1 base ability point. I really like that. And the fact that every phylactery the Lich has must be present when an extra is made means that you have to either bring them out of storage to your new place that you're going to have this, or create phylacteries in a place of safety that you know you can get to. That's really neat. Phylactery is also affected by phylactery empathy, so you know where they all are unless they were moved, but you have the magic ability to not have it removed from your mind or memory that you have a phylactery and where it was. So when making the transition to Demi-Lich, you may spend 8 hours and expend all spells of your highest spell level to combine 2 of your extra phylacteries into a soul gem. You must have at least 1 phylactery to make additional ones. Okay, so long and goodbye. A Lich is immune to all soul-based spells such as Magic Jar, Imprison Soul, Trap the Soul, etc. Its soul is within the phylactery and can only be affected if the magic is cast upon the phylactery itself. With multiple phylacteries, each one must have that fraction of the Lich's soul contained before the Lich suffers the effects. If the soul is captured, the body dissolves and the phylactery is rendered inert until the soul is released. A Lich and its phylactery have full immunity to Magic Jar and similar effects where a soul is switched because the intruder has not been prepared to enter a soul vessel. If you think, alright, I'm gonna switch souls with Bill, he's standing right in front of me, and then you go, wait, his soul isn't there in the body, then the process just doesn't even complete. You can't find the soul to switch with because the soul isn't in that body. The unique link between the body and soul of a Lich also renders it immune to the effect. Putting one lich's soul in another lich's empty phylactery acts as a soul gem in Trap the Soul. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's a soul vessel for design, allowing it to contain the lich, but it's not attuned to that specific one, so it acts as a soul gem to imprison it. Okay, now let's see what this is. Tome of the Stilled Tongue. The book is of great value to the Lich to be. Okay, why? It boosts the caster's level, teaches spells, and looks great on a mantle. And is Tome of the Stilled Tongue something that's in 5th edition? Cost of Constitution, but you'll be undead. So yeah, Constitution goes down, but you'll be undead soon enough, and that won't matter. I love how this person wrote this. One of the most relevant features of the Vecna, it's a Vecna relic, is that it contains instructions for constructing a Lich's phylactery. In effect, it reduces the XP requirements by 1/3 after calculating the total price in the case of extra phylactery cost whenever you create a phylactery with this book in hand. Okay, so XP goes down, and then yeah, the extra ones where it goes up every 10% or whatever, that makes it a lot better. So 5e, it says 5e tools here, so I'm gonna say that the Tome of the Stilled Tongue is still around. Lich variants. Okay, so what type of liches are there? There's the basic lich, the Sewer lich, okay, ghost-like version, interesting. Draco lich, we all know that. Lich fiend, usually devil or demon. Good lich, turns undead and can't be turned, but can be rebuked or destroyed. Demi lich, epic, very powerful, as 8 soul gems. Okay, so you need 8 soul gems before you can become a demi-lich. And remember, soul gems are 2 phylacteries in 1. That functions much like extra phylacteries. There's the arch lich, there's the dry lich, a mummy, okay, where your organs are kept in canopic jars instead of phylactery. Organs in a jar instead of a soul in a phylactery. Okay, the Walker in the Waste allows you to become one like the Dread Necromancer, who works the basic lich. There's the Bane lich, followers of Bane, who is one of the gods of death. I don't remember if Bane is murder or what. I can't remember what death aspect he is. There's the Baelnorn, an elf turned into a lich, not necessarily evil. Baelnorn, that's pretty cool. And the Illith Lich. The Illith Lich. Ooh, the race with an alternate names of galore. Mind flayers that become Illith Lich or Alhoons by taking the Lich template. Illith Lich. Ooh, the Illithid Lich. That's scary. Ugh. Templates to consider. Evolved Undead. Well, not a Lich variant, it's something to consider for an old Lich, as many are bound to be. Boost stats and gives fast healing, and the Spell Stitched. Gain a bunch of spell-like abilities and find some DR. I can't remember what DR stands for. It costs gold pieces to make an undead Spell Stitched, but it might be worth it. Okay, and sorry if this keeps scrolling up and down, but I can't seem to get a handle on that right now. Gods to worship. Core, complex design, and Libris Mortis. Of these gods, almost all the bases are covered for supporting a lich's motives for achieving undeath, whether it be for power, love, or a fascination with death. So the big 3 of necromancy, Vecna, Nerul, and Jas. I don't know that one, okay. We all know Vecna, necromancer, a lich himself. Nerul, a more radical god of death for those who seek to bring ruin, hatred of the living. Jas has an veneration to death and the funeral. Respect structured training. Death is not necessarily an aspect of evil, but a part of life. Bakob, I think is it Bakob or Bakob? I don't know. The god of magic and knowledge is appropriate for many liches who only seek eternal life to continue steadying. Would work with a cloistered cleric lich. I really like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Magic and knowledge. Afflux, death god of knowledge with combination of Bakob and Vecna, okay, favors torture to learn about a creature and unveil its secrets. This reminds me of the leader of, what is it? This reminds me a bit of the leader of the Red Wizards. I can't remember his name right now, that lich. Anyways, next there's the Dorasane, a king of ghouls, appears to the consumers of life, good for the sort of feral undead. Ooh, consumers of life, a soul eater or something. I was just watching Fate the other day, and there was a soul eater person in that. So yeah, they would follow Dorasane. Evening Glory. If you wonder what Fate that was Apocrypha that has this soul eaters. More of a tragic. So Evening Glory. I've never heard of Evening Glory. More of a tragic love continues in death sort of appeal to this goddess. I'm gonna look up Evening Glory right now because I've never ever heard of that. Evening Glory D&D. I know there's Morning Glory. Morning Glory is a plant. So actually one of the things I was going to have for a gamer tag or some title was Morning Glory, but like this, like glory to be mourned. Yeah, like that, Morning Glory. So I knew Morning Glory is a thing, but I thought Morning Glory like that would be a cool thing for like a wizard's guild or some fighter's guild or some fantasy thing, or maybe some gamer tag or something like that. But yeah, Eternal Glory. Oh, so Evening Glory, Eternal Lover. Okay, the Eternal Lover, Evening Glory. That's a cool one. Okay, more of a tragic. So yeah, the Romeo and Juliet kind. Love and passion beyond death are her biggest platforms. Okay. So yeah, all the lovers that will be like, yeah, we'll die, but we'll be together in death. Oh, and I just want to say, okay, and I can't find it right now, but there was a League of Legends thing that just came out. Well, it wasn't League of Legends, it's their new game. I can't remember what it's called, but it has like a sun and a moon elf, and they're basically exact rip-offs from the Dragon Prince. Like the sun elves have the exact same shields and everything, and the moon elves like look exactly the same. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, there's this new League of Legends cinematic. It's not, I can't remember what their new game is called, and since I can't remember what it's called, I can't find it. But yeah, anyways, I think Evening Glory would fit with that. Anyways, that was a bit of a ramble. And then there's Orcus as well, a demon prince, similar in his policies to Nerul, but even more chaotic and aggressive. And more information for necromantically inclined. More stuff right here, so if you want to know. I think I've got to finish up this video right now. I could make it longer, but I'm just falling apart today. I could not make a video. This is all I could do. So yeah, go check out the Giant in the Playground forum if you want to read this for yourself. And if you want to get all of these links right here, yeah, you can go check this video. You can go check this forum out for yourself. I cannot think right now. And yeah, let me know what you think of the idea of a Tortle Lich using the Tortle's shell as a basically bag of holding for the personal plane that would hold the phylactery of the Lich. So the Lich's soul is in the phylactery in a personal plane inside of the shell that acts like a bag of holding. And then it comes out and it's like, pops out, turtle, you know, I like turtles, all of this. And yeah, that would be a Tortle Lich. I think that'd be kind of interesting. And yeah, so there's tons of different things here, and that was pretty cool. My most favorite things are the reforming thing. That was a lot to discuss there. There was some pretty cool things. The Lich Thrall was kind of neat. Polymorphing a phylactery into a heart is something that I hadn't really considered. Like I said, I found this years ago, and I just want to put this on my channel because I thought you might find it interesting. Now, I have discussed natural liches. I said before there was, let's see, nymphs, phoenixes, and trolls, all things that have a slight hint or a tinge of immortality to them, and there will be that video that you can check out. And I really liked the gods. Evening Glory. I think I might make a video for Evening Glory because I'd never ever heard of that. Yeah, I'll bookmark that right now. Evening Glory, you get a bookmark. Considering that's all you get, I think you might need a little more love than just a few paragraphs on a wiki page. So we'll see if we can make something for Evening Glory. And yeah, like I said, I thought Morning Glory spelt like that would make like a sweet, like, I don't know, Wizards Guild or some guild name or fantasy related thing. Morning Glory. It's so edgy and I don't know. it's so like teen and edgy and like edgelord, but I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, Evening Glory, Morning Glory. So yeah, that was the guide to complete Lichdom. Something that I found very, very interesting. There's lots of different liches, lots of things to learn. If you want to know more about liches, I would recommend AJ Pickett. He's the D&D YouTuber that has long, full videos that are like super researched. He will have tons of videos on all the demi-liches, all the stages of Lichdom or things like that. Or you can check out my natural lich video or any of the other videos I've mentioned, linked down below. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think the best race for a lich would be. If you think the Tortle Lich is something interesting or if it's stupid. And yeah, just let me know down below what type of lich you would create if you could. What god would you follow for a lich? Would you be one of the good liches, one of the evil liches? Would you like a phylactery in a personal plane, or a phylactery inside your lich thrall? What type of lich? There's so many different ones. The Baelnorn, I might do a video for them eventually as well. Elf turned into a lich, not necessarily evil. So yeah, tons of different things to consider with this, and I did like how there was mention of like Harry Potter and Quirrell, and there were a few things there, but yeah, pretty cool topic. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a like, or you can subscribe for daily videos. I make at least one video every single day, or you can leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.